Hi and welcome to my PlayHouse. And today I have a little project that I want to involve you in because I have here, oh, you almost can't see it, but it's a server. It's the IBM / Lenovo x3850 M.2. It's an older server. I want to see if I can put an NVMe drive in there. These old servers, they commonly have a lot of PCI Express slots, especially these bigger ones. There's a lot of available slots in there, and most of the times we don't use that for anything. I found something interesting that I wanted to try and put in there, and as this is an older server, it doesn't really have an X16 slot in there. It has an X8, but it has a lot of them. I have covered this one. This is an NVMe, that's the bottom one, and then it's an M.2 SSD, that's the top one. The M.2 SSD needs this SATA connection to work, but the NVMe drive at the bottom, well, that doesn't need anything, just needs to go into a PCI Express port and that will work. But this server here doesn't have any SATA connections in there, as I remember it. I really forget. So I was looking for a card with just the NVMe drive and something that you could just cheaply put in all the slots. So if you wanted, like, I don't know how many this has, six NVMe drives in there, well, you could do that. Ta-da-da! Okay, table. We of course have the normal old SSD. This is a Samsung with a ninja chick, so you can pull it out when you put it in some stupid place. But well, this is rattling one from Samsung. It's an 850 Pro, 512 gigabytes. Awesome. And then we have the one that I just showed, where this one up here is more or less the same as this. It's an SSD. And the common thing with these two are that they supply about 550 megabytes per second, whereas the NVMe drive can supply from about 2100 megabytes per second and upwards. Yeah, I even have the box for it still. I don't know why I keep that around, but I do. So I bought something new. It comes in a nice plastic bag here, and it doesn't take up much room. So I have already opened that up. So let's have a look at this. This is kind of the same thing as this. It's just smaller and it's fixable, so that you can see this is an X16 slot. It even has the locking mechanism for if you're gonna use it in a GPU slot. That's usually what that is for, so that the big beefy GPU can be locked in place so it don't jump up. This can do that too, but it just has one slot for an NVMe drive there, so this can kind of just get popped in every available slot in a server and supply additional NVMe capability. So that's my thought anyway. So I wanted to try that on this old server. I have also ordered a heatsink for it. It hasn't arrived yet, so but I'm kind of curious. I want to test this out now, so we might have a look at it again when the heatsinks arrive. So I'm gonna remove the NVMe drive from this one, and it even comes with a screwdriver, and that it's a standard screwdriver. I believe there is also a screwdriver with this one. It's the same cheap Chinese screwdriver that comes with all of them, and this comes off, of course. There's different sizes to these, which reference to how long they are. So there it has sizes on here. So there's a 2230, there's a 2242, and that's the amount of millimeters from here to there. And then there's 2260 and a 2280, and I do believe this is a 2280, so it will go all the way to the top. They have already put in the screw. That's so nice of them. Thank you very much. It does actually come with a couple of other screws here, a spare part of screws, but I don't see why I should do that. But there is also some stickers, and it's not really stickers, it's heating compound. These tend to get hot, so it's possible to cool them down by putting on, like I ordered the heatsink for it. But that's actually a little bit plus and minus, because cooling it down will make it last longer, but cooling it down will also make it ever so slightly more slow. It seems that the technology for writing on here works a little bit faster if it's warm. Not burning hot, but warm. So if you cool it down too much, well, you'll actually get a little bit slower drive, but totally up to you. Do you want it to last 16 years or 15 years? Or do you want an extra 500 kilobytes a second? I don't know how much it is, but yeah, I'm gonna cool it a little bit just because this stuff is here. So I found this one. This is kind of thick, and I was looking at it, and I think that would fit really well right there, and have the back side cool of it. Of course, all the heat will be on the front side, but as I have a heatsink coming in, I have to wait until that comes, but it could get rid of some of the heat through the backside. And as this is a server and air travels from the front of the server to the back of the server, this going in, well, increasing this area on the back from this and kind of up to well, this would probably improve that a little bit. So we're gonna try that. This comes with sticky labels on the back, and on the back of it, it actually has a little copper. Not sure if you're meant to take that copper off. I think it might be good to have it there. I'm just gonna try and remove this sticker here, which is just a plastic thing, which tells us all the good stuff. Might actually put that in the box. Don't think I'm ever gonna need it, but well, who knows. And we're gonna try and put this on. I tested it. We can try and take this out, and I put this down, and I put this on top, and I am able to tighten this down, and then it will be touching mostly all of the way. I'm not yeah, it should be getting some contact to the rest of it, but this thing has glue on both sides. Well, not to be so sticky. It's like chewing gum ish. So let's remove. Can you see that? It's some clear plastic. We can remove one side and then try and put it down here. You can see the board. It has these gold lines, which is of course just the copper, and I want to cover the copper. So kind of like that, and then we can remove the top layer of plastic, which seems to be thinner and static. And we'll put that down. I hope it will still come off when I want it to. There. It's really not rocket scientist. Oh, there's another difference that we might want to, if you see these, I can just take this out. NVMe and M.2 SSD, they look very similar, but if you look at the connections down here, the SSD has 2 nuts and the NVMe only has 1. That's very important. So if you have a drive like this, it's an SSD, and a drive like this, it's an NVMe. So that's a good way to know the difference between them. So let's put this back in, and it's very nice. It sticks enough so that if you put it down, it will stay there. You might be able to see that this is penetrated. You can kind of see a lot of holes along here. Maybe you can see it. Can you see? But it's meant that this piece can be removed, and I will have to do that because my server only has X8 slots in there. So, but let's go check the server first. As said, it's an older server. The server has an ordinary BIOS. It does not have the Wi-Fi BIOS, so I am not sure that you will be able to boot from this NVMe drive as it is. It is also a little bit dusty down there. But if we move over here, we will find a lot of available slots down here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slots, and a very long slot at the end here. That a RAID card extension there. Okay, I never seen. I tested this server with this boot device, which is an iSCSI boot device, so that I could boot it off iSCSI. That is still sitting in here, and we can try and boot the server using well, this boots to Proxmox, and it would be very interesting to see if Proxmox would be able to see this device and use it as a disk. But first I need to remove this, because you can see these slots down here. Oh, maybe I don't. Okay, it will actually almost work. It will work in this slot down here, which is impossible to get to because there's nothing in the way there. But all the other slots, well, if we put it in here, there's a heatsink in the way, and I wouldn't be able to press it down far enough. Same thing with the next one. In this slot, there's a stupid little capacitor sitting right there, and that would get in way of this locking mechanism. Then in these two slots up here, there's again a big heatsink. So I'll need to remove this part and also this locking mechanism at the back here, just because the server is stupid. So tool time. Okay, let's see what we can do. Oh, I've gotten rust on. Oh, that's not okay. I've cut something that has stuck on there. So let's try and start with making sure that there's nothing electric going on there. So I'm just gonna mark it a little bit there, and then I'm gonna snip a little bit and take the rest. There, good to go. Then I have this one to take this whole long one, and I hope that, oh, where do I hold my hands to not break anything important? Okay, so maybe you cut that a little bit first. And then you gently but firmly breaks it off. Okay. Well, it looks stupid, but now it will fit. So we have some leftover pieces. So if anyone is wanting to upgrade from an X8 to an X16, I have the part for that. So now we can install it. We can just pick either one of these and just pop that in. There, that's 500 gigabytes of NVMe installed. This is only an EVO, it's not the Pro one. I might have been a bit cheap when I bought this, but it's still not bad. I'm a little bit curious because it would probably need some airflow, so I might just go and replace one of these, which this is a solid one. See if we can fit one of these which has holes in it and put that in instead. See if that, okay, it will go in, but it will also want to drop down. That's not that great. Yeah, that's not gonna be cool. So I could screw it in. Do I have a screw? Screw it. It's an option. I guess these has a little tab that it secures it in place. So okay, there's room for improvement there. I was hoping to get some airflow. Really not much to see. It just sticks there. So the server has booted, but unfortunately the drive does not pop up in Proxmox. I only have the two iSCSI drives in there. So back to the drawing board. Okay, I have booted the server into the BIOS, and as we can see in slot number 2, it sees the network controller there, which is really the iSCSI controller. But the new NVMe drive on that board, it's unknown in here, so it does not know what that is. but it does see something. Holy moly, this has turned out to be a long-winded ghost chase. I wanted to try Microsoft Server on this, and of course I wanted to try Server 2019, so I wanted to install that on here. And yeah, let's just say that the RAID controller, which is not present in here, so as soon as you take out the RAID thing, there's an HBA left, and that's what you upgrade. There is a slot in there where you can put that in, and when you do that, you upgrade it. So Server 2019 does not like that HBA at all, and Server 2016, same thing, does not like that. I am back to installing Server 2008, not even that one. Oh, it is actually a little bit better. It's the R2 version here, rather older one, but that installs directly. That recognizes the RAID controller, and it recognizes I put in an SSD here, that Samsung EVO 850, that works. But that was over a day's worth of trying stuff out, and here it is. It's still not showing up. So I am right now trying to update this Server 2008 R2 and see if this should pop up. And this is day number 3. So this was meant to be a 1-hour video where I just put that thing in, this PCI Express card with the NVMe drive, and show you how wonderful and smart and easy it was. Yeah, I might have to go back to the drawing board on that one, but it's not really the card's fault. I really picked the wrong server for this, but it is working now. We're not getting the numbers that I was hoping for, but just to sum it up, this server, which is the IBM x3850 Model 2, well, if you take the RAID controller expansion out of it, it becomes an HBA. I think I already said that. But when you do that, you don't install Server 2016, Server 2019 on there directly. You don't get to do that. It's not gonna see any drive that you put in there. And I put an SSD in there, and I could see it everywhere in the system. It was in the BIOS. Well, look what we have, but it didn't show up in the operating system. Neither Proxmox or Server 2019, 2016 would see the drive. I tried a bunch of stuff that was dead ends. What I ended up, which worked for me, was to install an old version of Server 2008 R2. That installed no problem. It saw the drive, no problem, and everything was good. And I put that on. And then I took my USB stick with Server 2019 and installed that on top of Server 2008. So that's what we have running now. And Server 2019 does see this. Server 2008, well, you saw it. It saw it, but had no drivers. I could have been messing around with those drivers and might have been able to find something that would see it, but yeah, now we are here. So let's see what we got. Let's just start in the disk manager here. I've called it NVMe Drive down here and given it drive letter number E, and it shows up here. So it's in here. It's okay-ish. So everything is fine there. And if we go to the device manager, it's also looking good there. It sees it as a Samsung SSD 960 EVO. Awesome. The other Samsung SSD, which has the operating system, which is also a 500 gigabyte, that is run through the RAID controller, which is not a RAID controller, but I managed to make a volume on it and have that presented to the operating system. I don't know if I need to do that, but well, that was what I got working. Let's try and run a quick benchmark. So I have had this benchmark program suggested to me, so we're gonna try that. I have already run it, and I know that we're gonna run into some disappointments, but yeah, right now if we check the drives, we can see there's a local drive, local disk, it says. That's the C drive, that's the SSD that is running the operating system, and then we have the NVMe drive, and in between there we have the CD-ROM drive. We're not gonna test that, so I'll just run the local disk here, and that being an SSD, we should expect 550 megabytes out of that. We're not gonna get that, but let me show you that. Okay, it's working on the last little bit, and as you can see, we are getting about 133 megabytes per second here. That's about 1/4 of what I would have been expecting from an SSD, like the 550 megabytes per second. This is terrible, and I'm not sure what in the system that does this. It's most likely the RAID controller is causing this, or the HBA. This is a good speed for a normal spinning disk, so maybe it's just maxing out there. So, but let's try the NVMe drive. So it has run long enough so that we can start to see where we're at, and we're getting about 855 megabytes per second out of the NVMe drive here, which is also about, I would expect, about 25% of where we could be. I am really curious to what is going on here. That was also about the same numbers as I got yesterday when I tried this, about 25% of where it should be. I'm not gonna cheat you for the last numbers. We ended there about 855 to 853. That was the worst ad for a product ever. I am hoping to start and sell these in my little shop, but really, you would never buy this. Well, I have to do better than that, right? I think I can do a whole video on trying to get server 2019 on this server now. That might be coming, because that was a battle, and if someone else wants server 2019 on that, well, it might be worthwhile to do that. Yeah, this will be available at some point, but yeah, there are some heat sinks coming in, so I'll try and promote this again when and I'll probably choose another server for it. It did work. We did get 850 megabytes per second, which might not be that bad on this whole thing. I'm not going to be selling the Samsung NVMe drives, only this little PCB to put in, yeah, and that could be cool. There is the possibility of putting 7 in here, so well, there's only 4 drives in the front, so you could have 7 NVMe drives inside. So yeah, thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, improve on this, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.